Newgulf is a company town that was created in 1928 by the Texas Gulf Sulfur Company, which is now called Texas Gulf. It was built in Wharton County before most of the area reportedly had paved roads. Apparently, it was named through a contest that was employee only, and the winning entry was submitted by a woman named Marie Ertz that worked at the Houston office. Apparently, the first town created by Texas Gulf was called Gulf. And when I looked at a map or tried to find an old map of Gulf, it seems to be around where Matagorda Beach is, though I'm not sure if this is the Gulf that Texas Gulf created. The town was built with 400 houses that ranged from 1 to 3 bedrooms, and these houses were leased to the employees. Apparently, the town had a downtown area with a single 4-lane road with essential businesses on either side and a movie theater. Newgulf had its own post office, and the company provided a hospital, library, school, and golf course. In 1940, the population was 1,586, the highest it ever was. The area is described as being isolated, with the community being very close-knit. Reportedly, the people would barely venture out to even bowling, which is just 3 miles away. At its height, the town had as many as 15 businesses, including a cafe, 2 dry goods stores, 2 grocery stores, 2 pharmacies, a barber shop, a tailor, and 3 garages. And eventually 4 churches were created that were Catholic, Methodist, Baptist, and Presbyterian. The year of its creation, an independent school district was formed. Lago and Newgulf, Texas had the elementary schools, and Bowling had the high school. The town started to decline after World War II as the demand for sulfur decreased. Texas Gulf Sulfur built new plants and the employees were eventually laid off. The company started selling empty houses in 1961. Apparently, in the 1980 census, there were only 1,000 residents in town. By 1990, only 100 of the company houses remained, and most of the residents did their shopping in Wharton. The post office closed in 1993, and the Newgulf School merged with the bowling school. A skeleton crew was maintained through the 90s, and at some point, it seems that the Wharton Electric Company may have bought out the original plant. According to the TSHA, the town is on top of the Bowling Dome, an underground rock structure that contains petroleum, sulfur, and salt. In 2009, the estimated population was 10. In 2020, I went on a visit to the area. I drove through Wharton, then Bowling, then got close to Newgulf. From more than 10 miles away, I could see the abandoned smokestacks in the sky, which was honestly really frightening. There was something so ominous about seeing parts of this abandoned warehouse in the sky, and when I drove into town, there was a noticeable emptiness about it all. There's an abandoned building that looked like it had serviced something before, and a bus stop that looked like it hadn't been used in years. If I remember correctly, there also seemed to have been a mount of some sort of stand that seemed to be removed at some point. The company houses are still there and very noticeably similar. At this point, many people have painted over the company white houses, and I'd seen houses that were about red, blue, and very differently colored houses. It was a Saturday, so of course everyone was home, and I didn't feel right going around taking pictures of people's houses. I made my way to the old plant and saw a sign that said no trespassing. There didn't seem to be anyone working, but the last thing I wanted was for someone to call the cops on me. Like I said before, it seems that an electric company from Wharton seems to own the buildings now. There were many company trucks parked in the gated lot. So I drove back to the main part of town, unsure of which road was the right one, since Google Maps had told me that the school was still there. To tell you the truth, the town was giving me the creeps since it was so similar. I kind of got this cultish feeling like when you go to hack dirt in Oblivion, and a lot of the land in the area seems to have been sold to farmers, though there was a lot of private areas. Near the back of the town are newer houses that seem to have built in the last 20 years, and this seems to be the affluent area of the town. Later on, when I went back to town in January of 2021, I decided to just say fuck it, and I went in the plant anyway. There seemed to be someone else curious about the old plant, but they drove away once they saw the trespassing sign. I was actually pretty disappointed. There wasn't much of interest when driving further into the plant. There were some abandoned buildings that either had the windows boarded up or others where the windows had been taken out. Really, the only marker to signify the history of the town are the two long stacks that are noticeable for miles away. It seems that everything that made the town come to be is essentially gone. I was hoping to see some sort of remnants of the downtown, but all of that is gone too. I assume that maybe the large open field when entering the town may have been it. The school is still there and it's still in use, and in 2029 it will turn 100 years old. As far as I know, there don't seem to be any historical markers in the area, but I can be wrong. And I'm unsure of what cemetery the original people of the town used and what is closest by. Probably something around Bowling. When I looked at a map, I saw really the closest cemeteries were, of course, down south by Bay City and up north, not that far away, but still in Wharton. Apparently, though, that there's more history to the town, which can be found at the museum in Wharton.